Have you ever felt emotionally drained by things that, deep down, shouldn't have that much power over you? Maybe a careless comment, a hurtful criticism, or even someone's silence has thrown off your mood for the entire day. This happens because our emotions are still vulnerable, like open wounds exposed on a battlefield. Carl Jung once said, "Those who look outside, dream. Those who look inside, awaken." And that awakening is exactly what you need right now. Shielding your emotions doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means learning not to be shaken by every little thing, not reacting on impulse, not letting external noise steal your peace, and refusing to let other people's chaos throw you off balance. When we talk about being insensitive here, we mean strategic insensitivity, the kind of maturity where you don't take everything personally, where you resist emotional traps, and where you know that not every situation deserves your reaction. Jung believed true strength comes from embracing both light and shadow within ourselves, and that includes mastering your own feelings. Today, you'll learn 7 basic rules to armor your emotions and cultivate a healthy kind of coldness. Not to push people away, but to protect yourself. These simple rules fit into everyday life and will help you build a mind that's stronger, steadier, and clearer amidst life's pressures. So, if you're ready to strengthen your mind, master your impulses, and live with greater clarity, hit the like button, subscribe for daily insights, and drop a comment below with today's phrase. From now on, I control my emotions. Let's walk this journey together. Rule 1. Stop explaining yourself all the time. Seeking approval is an illusion of the ego. Picture your authenticity as a raw diamond that you keep polishing until it looks like ordinary glass, just to please someone else's display window. That's the perfect metaphor for how constantly chasing approval erodes our true essence. Jung pointed out that the ego has an insatiable hunger for external validation, creating a psychological trap where we become slaves to other people's expectations. When we compulsively explain ourselves, it's a sign of a wounded ego that feels the need to justify every thought, every choice, every move. This constant need to explain reveals deep insecurity and disconnection from our true self. He called this the inflation of the ego, when our conscious personality balloons in an attempt to control how others see us. Real self-knowledge begins when we realize that this need to explain is a subtle form of manipulation. Not manipulation out of malice, but out of fear. Fear of rejection, judgment, abandonment. But Jung warned, the more we shape ourselves to meet others' expectations, the further we drift from who we truly are, building a fake life on shaky foundations. Individuation, a core concept in Jungian psychology, is the process of becoming who we really are, not who others want us to be. This journey takes courage. Courage to face disapproval, to accept that not everyone will understand your choices, and to find validation within your own integrity. When we stop obsessively explaining ourselves, we free up psychic energy wasted on social performance. Jung noticed that emotionally mature people have a special quality. They live their truth without needing to convince anyone, not out of arrogance, but because they are deeply connected to their core values. They understand that over-explaining signals they're not yet fully confident in their choices. Choosing not to explain yourself doesn't mean being rude or distant. It means being mindful of when and to whom you give your energy to explain. It means realizing your inner peace doesn't depend on others' understanding, but on the alignment between your values and actions. This is the first step toward true emotional maturity. Rule 2. Watch the tone of your voice. How you speak reveals your shadow self. Your voice is like an emotional seismograph, recording the invisible tremors of your soul. Every pitch, every inflection, every rhythm shift uncovers hidden parts of your psyche. Jung discovered that vocal tone is a direct window to the unconscious, especially to the shadow, the parts of ourselves we repress or deny. speaking with unnecessary aggression projects unresolved anger onto the world. This vocal aggression rarely relates to the current situation, but often stems from old wounds left unhealed. Jung explained that the shadow holds not only destructive impulses, but also repressed vitality, denied assertiveness, and authentic strength judged as unacceptable. That on the flip side, a voice that's too passive or apologetic reveals a different shadow, the shadow of denied personal power. People who always sound like they're apologizing for existing carry a shadow of suppressed authority. They fear their own power so much they shrink vocally, creating a false humility that ironically manipulates through victimhood. Becoming aware of your vocal patterns is a powerful tool for self-growth. Noticing how you speak in different situations reveals deep, unconscious patterns. You might use one tone with bosses, another with coworkers, and yet another with family. These shifts aren't always bad, but extreme differences can mean a fragmented personality. Jung stressed that integrating the shadow doesn't mean expressing every destructive urge, but recognizing and channeling those energies constructively, especially in how we speak. This means finding a voice that's gentle yet firm, respectful yet assertive. A voice that doesn't need to push through aggression, nor hide behind passivity. Practicing vocal awareness means pausing before you speak and asking yourself, where is this tone coming from? Which part of me is speaking now? Often, it's not really you talking, but your wounds, your fears, your old habits. Your true voice emerges when you learn to speak from the integrated center of your being. Rule 3. Don't respond immediately. The pause is where self-knowledge begins. Think of it as the silence between two musical notes. It's what gives the melody meaning. Jung understood that human consciousness isn't a continuous flow, but a series of moments for choice. It's precisely in the gap between stimulus and response that our true humanity shines. When we react instantly, we let the unconscious run our lives through automatic patterns shaped by past experiences, unresolved trauma, social conditioning, and primitive defense mechanisms. Jung observed that most people live on autopilot, responding to life from unconscious programming instead of conscious choice. That a conscious pause is a revolutionary act of self-liberation. Creating this sacred space between what happens to us and how we respond means reclaiming our personal power. We're no longer victims of impulses, but architects of our reactions. This is the fundamental difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is automatic. Responding is conscious. During the pause, many psychological processes can unfold. First, you get a chance to breathe, which calms the brain and reduces emotional hijacking. Second, you access your inner wisdom, consulting your deepest values about how you want to reply. Third, you can weigh the consequences of different possible responses. Jung emphasized that the pause isn't procrastination or avoidance, but an incubation period where the wisest answer can emerge, like letting wine mature. Time transforms a raw reaction into a refined response. In this process, intuition can surface, creativity can flow, compassion can arise. Practicing the pause takes discipline and patience. At first, it might feel unnatural or even cowardly. Our culture praises quick reactions and instant decisions. But Jung knew true strength lies in holding back psychic energy until it can be channeled constructively. The pause is an act of power, not weakness. Rule 4. Don't let small things upset you. What annoys you shows what needs healing. Your irritations are like tiny cracks in a wall that reveal the deeper fractures in your foundation. Jung discovered that what bothers us most in others often reflects what we deny in ourselves. This is the essence of psychological projection. We see in others what we refuse to acknowledge within. If arrogance in someone irritates you, it might be your own suppressed arrogance. If laziness annoys you, maybe you're denying your own needs for rest and pause. Jung noticed that our strongest emotional reactions come from how close the projected traits are to our own denied parts. Emotional maturity isn't becoming numb or apathetic. It's learning to discern which irritations carry important messages for our growth and which are just background noise. Some irritations signal that our values are being challenged. Others are chances for self-discovery through the mirror of projection. Gathering projections and recognizing what we see outside also exists inside is one of the most transformative parts of individuation. When we stop blaming the world for our discomfort and start asking what it reveals about our psyche, irritation turns into wisdom. Jung suggested a practical exercise. Whenever you feel intensely irritated by something small, pause and ask, where in my life do I show the same trait that bothers me in others? Though uncomfortable, this question opens a door to deep self-knowledge. Regularly practicing this reflection builds psychological humility. We begin to see how complex and contradictory we really are. This awareness isn't depressing, it's freeing. When we accept our whole selves, including the shadow, we stop projecting and start living more authentically and compassionately. Rule 5. Develop firmness, not coldness. True strength comes from integration, not repression. Emotional firmness is like a century-old tree rooted through storms, flexible enough not to break, strong enough not to be uprooted. Jung knew true psychological power isn't about eliminating emotions, but consciously embracing them within our whole personality. Many confuse emotional maturity with coldness or distance. They think being professional or mature means suppressing feelings, building an impenetrable wall, becoming a machine without humanity. Jung warned that repressing emotions doesn't make them disappear. It pushes them into the unconscious, where they influence us in even more destructive ways. Emotional repression creates what Jung called autonomous complexes, groups of psychic material charged with emotion that operate independently of awareness. These complexes emerge in stress and sabotage our best efforts to stay in control. Someone who represses anger may explode at the worst moments. Those who deny sadness may sink into inexplicable melancholy. Emotional integration, on the other hand, means recognizing, naming, and channeling feelings constructively. It means letting anger tell us when boundaries are crossed, sadness connect us to losses that need grieving, fear warn us of real dangers. It's working with our emotional nature, not dominating it. Jung observed that emotionally integrated people have a special quality. They are both sensitive and resilient, feel deeply but aren't slaves to their feelings. They can be firm without cruelty, set boundaries without aggression, hold their ground without rigidity. That's the hallmark of true emotional maturity. Building integrated firmness is a gradual process requiring patience and practice. It means learning the language of emotions, tolerating ambiguity, and holding psychological tension without needing to resolve it immediately. It's a path that honors both our rational and sensitive sides. Rule 6. Seek respect, not validation. Authentic people don't reshape themselves to fit the world. Chasing validation is like trying to fill a leaky basket with water. No matter how much external approval we get, we never feel truly full. Jung recognized this endless hunger for validation comes from being disconnected from our true self, the essence that exists regardless of others' opinions. The persona, the social mask we wear, is necessary for civilized life, but problems arise when we mistake the persona for our real identity and believe we're only what others see and approve. Jung warned that living solely through the persona is a slow psychological suicide. Validation is external, temporary, conditional, and depends on other people's moods, values, and needs. Someone seeking validation is at the mercy of the environment, like a boat without an anchor in rough seas. Today they applaud us. Tomorrow they criticize us for the same trait they praised yesterday. Respect, on the other hand, comes from consistency between values and actions. People who live with integrity, even if misunderstood, earn lasting respect. They may not please everyone, but they inspire trust because their behavior is predictable and aligned with their principles. Jung said individuation takes courage to disappoint others, not out of cruelty, but because authentic growth sometimes means choosing paths others don't understand or accept. Mature individuals accept that they can't please everyone and make peace with occasional disapproval. Choosing respect over validation means shifting focus. Instead of asking, "What will others think?" ask, "Is this true to my deepest values?" Instead of changing to please others, stay authentic and attract those who value you for who you really are. Rule 7. Emotional mastery takes practice. The unconscious only becomes an ally when it's brought to light. Mastering emotions is like learning a musical instrument. It demands daily practice, patience with mistakes, and understanding that mastery is a journey, not a destination. Jung knew the unconscious isn't our enemy, but a treasure trove of wisdom hidden in the shadows of unawareness. His famous line, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate," reveals a deep truth about being human. Most people react to unconscious patterns, repeating mistakes and attracting problems without realizing they co-create their own drama. Making the unconscious conscious isn't a one-time task. It's a lifelong journey, like cleaning out a long-abandoned house. Each room you light up reveals others still in darkness. But every part of your psyche brought into awareness becomes an ally, not a saboteur. Emotional mastery involves several skills. First, observing your emotional patterns without judgment. Second, naming and categorizing different feelings. Third, choosing conscious responses instead of automatic reactions. Fourth, developing tolerance for uncomfortable emotions without immediately escaping them. Jung stressed this isn't an intellectual exercise but a full body and soul practice, involving dreams, fantasies, physical symptoms, synchronicities, and all the phenomena our rational mind tends to ignore at its total integration, honoring both rational and instinctive parts of our nature. Mature emotional mastery doesn't mean tyrannizing feelings, but partnering with them, like learning to dance with a strong partner. This requires respect, attention, and a willingness to be surprised sometimes. When we reach this level of integration, emotions stop being obstacles and become trusted guides to a more authentic, meaningful life. Emotional maturity isn't a place we arrive at, but a path we walk every day. Like an upward spiral, we revisit challenges on deeper levels of understanding. Jung taught that becoming who we truly are is the toughest, yet most rewarding human journey. Each of these 7 rules is a tool for personal transformation. When we stop over-explaining, we reclaim vital energy. When we tune into our voice, we discover hidden parts of our psyche. When we pause before reacting, wisdom has room to grow. When we use irritation as a mirror, conflicts turn into self-knowledge. Developing integrated firmness frees us from both coldness and emotional instability. Choosing respect over validation connects us with our true selves. Daily emotional mastery turns the unconscious from a tyrant into an ally. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to start, but you do have to start to grow. Every small conscious step moves you closer to individuation. Your emotional journey is unique, but it doesn't have to be lonely. If this message spoke to you, please like and share this video with someone also seeking emotional growth. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss deep insights on psychology, self-awareness, and personal development. In the comments, tell us which rule challenges you the most right now. Your story can inspire others on similar paths if these 7 rules sparked something inside you. Don't keep this wisdom to yourself. Share it with someone who needs it too. Remember, emotional strength isn't built overnight, but step by step, together we grow stronger. Hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new insight that can transform your life. Your journey to emotional mastery starts right here, right now. Let's walk it side by side.